You're looking at a big old stockpile of cash in your savings account right now as you continue building up your down payment so you can buy a house. And you're starting to ask yourself, should I be investing this cash into the stock market so I don't lose to inflation? I can get some extra money while I'm sitting here and saving. And the answer really depends on three things. Number one is your time horizon. How long are you planning on saving up your money for? And then how long will you be investing it into the stock market? The longer you're invested for, the less likely you will lose money in the market as you continue saving up. Or vice versa, the shorter amount of time you're saving up your money for and the shorter amount of time you'll be invested, the more likely you'll lose money in the stock market and it won't be worth it. Number two is your risk appetite. How much are you willing to risk your savings, your down payment, and the amount of time it will take you to get into a house just so you can earn some extra cash on your savings? And then number three is there are alternative investments. You don't have to risk your money in the stock market to get interest on your cash as you continue building up your down payment, and I'll get to that at the end of this video. So before we get started, I want to say thank you for being here. I'm Jacob. I'm 28 years old. I have a net worth of almost $700,000. I'm on a warpath to get to $1 million by the time I'm 32. So if you're into $1 million journeys, personal finance, budgeting, investing, things like that, be sure to hit that subscribe button so we can be on this journey together, and may as well just give me a like right now because why not? So number one, your time horizon. How long are you going to be saving up your cash for as you continue building up your down payment? This is the most important part of the entire equation on whether or not you should invest your money into the stock market while you're saving up. And I want to take a look at this first chart from Bank of America, and it shows your probability of losing money in the stock market based on the amount of time that you're in the market for. So for example, if you're in the market for 1 day, you buy today, you sell tomorrow, there's a 46% chance that you'll lose money. If you're in the market for 1 month, you buy today, you sell in a month, there's a 38% chance you'll lose money. And the longer you're in the market for, we can see that the likelihood of losing money decreases significantly. So if you get into the market for 1 year, you buy today, August of 2025, you sell August of 2026, you only have a 26% chance of losing money. If you're in the market for 3 years, then you have a 15% chance of losing money. If you're in the market for 5 years, you have a 10% chance of losing money. If you're in the market for 10 years, you have a 6% chance of losing money. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing, if you're only saving up cash for 1 year, are you willing to have a 26% chance of losing money? Are you comfortable with that? Only you can really answer that. But I also like this other visual of the rolling returns of the S&P 500, the SPY ETF. And we can see on the 1 year time frame going back from 1925 all the way to now, the end of July, August of 2025, the amount of time, any time you'd invested just for 1 year, the amount of times it would have been green versus red. You'd been positive versus negative. So if you'd invest in July of 1994 from June of 1995, there was a 25% return that 1 year. But if we go up to September of 2000 to August of 2001, you would have lost 24% on your investment for that 1 year time period. So on the 1 year, we can see a lot of green and we see a fair amount of red, not as much red as there is green. But I like to now look at this on the 3 years. A lot of that red starts to disappear, and this is where we have only that 15% chance of losing money over a 3 year period of time. Then we look at it on the 5 years, almost all the red disappears. And then lastly, on the 10 years, there's only 2 periods over the past 100 years where the stock market was actually down for a full 10 years. Those were last decades in the Great Depression going back to 1930. And then also from the dot-com era to the GFC, which was another lost decade, and that was pretty tough. But any other time, if you'd have been invested for 10 years, you are not going to lose money. So you have to decide, what is your time horizon? How long are you going to be saving up that cash for? And then, are you really willing to risk it on any of those 1, 3, 5, or 10 year periods? You really have to make up your own mind of that. Now, number two is the risk. And this is that not all bear markets, not all crashes are created equally. And I like to look at the S&P 500 bear markets going back from World War II to now of 2025. And bear markets are classified as market dips of 20% or more. So going back from 1945, 1946, World War II to now, there have been 14 bear markets. The average bear market is 32%. And so whenever the market goes from a top, it crashes all the way down to a bottom. It crashes on average 32%. And then we can also see peak to trough. So whenever the market's at the top and then it goes down, 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 it takes on average 11 months for the market to go from the top all the way to the bottom. And then break even months is how long it takes the market to break even from the bottom going back up to a new peak. And it takes on average 19 months. And then lastly, the peak to break even months is 30 months. That's how long it takes for the market to go from a peak, go all the way down to a crash, bottom out, and then go back up to another peak. On average, it takes 30 months to recoup all of your money and break even from one peak down to the bottom to another peak. That's almost 3 years. So if you were saving up for a home and you start investing your down payment right now and we go into a bear market, on average, it will take 3 years for you to break even again to get that cash back. So if your time horizon of getting into a home is going to take you longer than 3 years, then you may not have that much risk that you're looking at. But if it's going to take you shorter than 3 years to save up for a home, then you're looking at a lot of risk if you were to get into the market and you're hoping to get your money out in a positive in the green in less than 3 years. There's a chance that you come out on the red. Now, these are also just averages. So if we look at like the 2008 bear market, the market dropped 56%, and it took over 4 years for the market to recover from 2007, 2008, all the way back up to the market in like 2010, 11, 12, for around there. So on some bear markets, they happen fast. They can go and recover within just 2 months. If we look in April of 2025, the market started to dip in February of this year, 2025, and then it fully recovered in the summertime. So that was super quick. So you just never know which bear market you could potentially land into. And this is why I say a lot of the risk is, what is your appetite for willing to risk the amount of time that it takes you to get into a home? If you save cold hard cash, you have zero risk. And this is where I like number 3, alternative investments, which are high yield savings accounts. If you were to put your money into a high yield savings account, you can outpace inflation just by a little bit, but you carry 0% risk. So I want you to think of this. If you were saving up for a $400,000 home, you want a 20% down payment, and you can save $15,000 a year, it would take you 5.3 years just saving cash to get into a home. If you were to start investing that money into the stock market, and let's say you just get a 10% market return every single year, which is what the market averages, then we can see that by the end of 5 years, you would have $100,000. So taking a look at this a little closer, in year 1, you save up $15,000. You get a 10% return on your money. Then at the end of year 1, you'd have $16,500. Year 2, you have $16,500 from year 1, plus another $15,000. You get 10%, $3,150, and that goes on through the 5 years, coming out at $100,000. So you do shave off about 3 to 5 months of time to get into your home, plus you get an additional like $20,000 or $25,000, which is great. But it carries that risk of you could have gone into a bear market, delaying the amount of time it takes you to get into your home. Now, on the flip side, a high yield savings account, you can get 3.5% in a high yield account. I like Discover's high yield savings account. That's what it's paying out at today. If you were to save $15,000, get 3.5% on your cash, that would be $525 the first year, giving you a total of $15,525. Going into year 2, you take year 1's total, then you add your $15,000, you go and get your 3.5%. You get $1,000 in year 2, and then at the end of year 2, you have $31,000. So at the end of 5 years, you will have $83,000. A total yield, the extra interest you got on your cash, came out to $8,252. So if you get a full 10% every single year investing in the market, you will come out making an additional $25,000 versus in a high yield savings account, you get an additional $8,000. That's the difference of $17,000. But that difference does come at the cost of just like your mental clarity, your state of being. And if you're saving up for a home, that means you really want a home. You're dying to get into a house. You really want to be a homeowner. You want a house for your family or maybe just yourself. I don't know. But you're saving up for a home because you want a home. And to me, it doesn't seem worth it investing the money into the market and carrying that risk, carrying the stress, carrying the anxiety for $17,000 over a 5-year time frame, to me, it's not worth it. If I want a home, then I want a home. And I find that whenever I try to do two things at once, I don't do either one of them very well. So if you're saving for a house, just save for a house. If you want to invest and get money back on your investments, then invest. If it were me, I would just stick to the high yield savings account. I would let my money grow at risk-free, outpacing inflation. Give me the additional $8,000. You still shave off over 3 months amount of time, whether you invest in stocks or whether you invest in the high yield savings account. You're still going to get into your house faster than if you don't do either one. So that's what I would do. I hope this video helps you come to a conclusion on what you should do with your cash. And if you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Give me that thumbs up if you made it this far. I think I deserve it, and I'll see you next video.